Hey everyone, my name is Jody, and if you are on the fence about coffee, here's some help. You know, for a long time, starting in the 70s, they started doing some research and they started saying that coffee wasn't good, that actually the stimulants would raise your blood pressure and that they would cause maybe heart palpitations and things like this. And so a lot of people were like, they just started cutting out coffee. And, you know, one of the things is that when they were running these tests and when they were running these, I'm trying to think of the word. When they were running these research tests, what happened was that, now I'm getting this information from Tamara Horwich. She is an associate clinical professor of medicine at the David Griffin School of Medicine in UCLA. Okay. And she said what they were doing when they were running these tests was they weren't considering all the variables in the test. Okay. Such as, they found a common flaw. Like when people who were drinking a lot of coffee, they didn't take into account that those people were also heavy smokers. So if you don't take all those variables into account, what happens is, like, say, okay, well, we're looking at the fact that, you know, heavy drinkers, our heavy coffee drinkers are, you know, having these symptoms. Okay. But if you don't take all of the variables into account, like here, these heavy smokers, then they were saying that the coffee was contributing to lung issues. Well, it wasn't the coffee, it was the cigarettes and the smoking. So, and this is according to coffee researcher Mary Cornelius, who is a PhD, professor of preventative medicine at Northwestern University in Chicago. So she said they had to go back and do clinical trials based actually on the coffee and take all the variables into account. To me, that shows good science. So they did that. And they did in 2018, they did a meta-analysis of 30 studies with more than 1 million participants. And they found that people who drank the most coffee, around 5 cups a day. Now understand that these are 8-ounce cups. They're not the mugs like I drink. And I drink coffee first thing in the morning and that's it. I don't have another one anytime during the day. I drink 1 coffee. But they did this study of 1 million participants who drank 5 cups a day at the 8-ounce size, had a 29% lower risk of developing type 2 diabetes than those who didn't drink coffee. They found out that coffee drinking has been associated with a reduced risk of depression, as well as a reduced risk of Alzheimer's and other cognitive disorders. Okay, that's pretty impressive right there. And as for the risks of blood pressure and heart palpitations, we know that caffeine's research effects do not cause heart problems, says Horwich. In fact, coffee beans are packed with powerful antioxidants and anti-inflammatory compounds such as chlorogenic acid and tannins, explains Cornelius. In fact, for the people who drink coffee, coffee is a major source of antioxidants that they might not get at any other place, especially in our foods, because we don't get everything we need from our foods. So it says that these compounds can act uniquely on the body to protect you from a wide range of health problems. In fact, if you have inflammation, you may crave coffee just because you're getting those anti-inflammatory properties from your coffee. It says chlorogenic acid is thought to regulate insulin and reduce body fat fat, which are two factors that bolster your metabolic function. In fact, current guidelines suggest that up to 400 milligrams of coffee a day is safe for healthy adults. And of course, they're talking about the 8-ounce cups. They're not talking about your big mugs. So, and it says coffee content varies widely depending on the roast that you get and the brewing method. So like if you get a real high caffeine content, then of course you shouldn't drink as many cups. But they're saying about 5 cups of 8-ounce coffee. So that would roughly, because my mug is a big mug, that would be about 2 cups for me. So people, it says, differ in their ability to metabolize caffeine. So you have to be careful. If you're noticing that you have an unpleasant side effect, maybe you have anxiety from it, or you get tremors or heartburn, or you have trouble sleeping, it recommends cutting back. And especially in women who are pregnant, it says they're advised to limit their caffeine to less than 200 milligrams a day. And I'm going to tell you this too. It also talks about in this article that if you should not drink any caffeine after 2 p.m. in the afternoon, none. Because caffeine has a tendency to perk you up and get you going, and that will interrupt your sleep patterns, and you don't want to disrupt your sleep patterns, because that you have to have sleep to have a good healthy day. You need good sleep. But it also talks about the fact that if you add like these sugared coffees that you get at Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts and McDonald's and places like that, like the flavored ones with all the drizzle and the Cool Whip on the top and all the good stuff that we like, the flavored coffees, then, and all the sugar, of course, then what you're doing is you're raising your calorie intake. So you're not getting the actual antioxidant benefit that you would if you drank your coffee straight black. So the healthiest coffee that they are talking about is straight black coffee. And of course, I don't know about you, but I have to have a little bit of a sweetener in it, because I know someone who used to drink straight black coffee, and I was like, woo, that's straight, man. But all the sweeteners do raise your calorie intake and all of that. So what I would like to do for you is you can message me, and what I will give you is this little QWERTY code, and I will send it to you. And this talks about how many milligrams. You can scan it and find out how many milligrams you're taking in daily. Answer a few questions. Then you can get a handy caffeine calculator, which tells you how many milligrams you actually need of coffee. But now you got to be careful. Don't drink it after 2 o'clock, because it's not healthy for your sleep patterns. And it's also not good for you to have all the sugars and sweeteners. So maybe some adjustments to the coffee. Cutting back on all the sweeteners and sugars, I can't do it. I use coconut and I froth it in my coffee. And that gives me the sweetener without adding a bunch of sugar. And also the types of sugar that you use, because you can use like an agave, which is like an all-natural sweetener too. Or a little touch of honey to your coffee, depending on how you like it. But if you want that QWERTY code, just reach out to me and I'd be more than happy to send it to you. And I hope you guys have an amazing day today. Happy Tuesday. Bye, y'all.